Kaden, after spending last year with Toledo, what has been kind of the biggest difference as far as for you playing now with Billy instead of Toledo and like kind of their game? How does that affect you as a receiver?
I wouldn't say it's too much of a difference. At the end of the day, you can only worry about your job and your assignment. So everything that's going on in the QB rooms and all that other stuff. I just try to keep it moving forward and worry about what I can do better. Instead of what Billy does better than Talia or what Talia did better than Billy. Billy's getting the job done, and he's doing it at a very high level.
Okay, now, Coach was talking about Ty Felton and how much his confidence has kind of blossomed this year. What have you seen from him in that regard, and just kind of what do you think his biggest growth has been from last year to this year?
Pretty much Ty's mindset. He's always knew he could do it. He just had to see himself do it, and now that I see him get the extra work in all off season, and his mind is just it's at a way higher level than it was his first 3 years. So the fact that he's actually doing what he thought he can do is going very well for him.
Kaden, Villanova, what have you guys seen? What have you heard about the Wildcats defense? What kind of things do they do as they're off to a 3-0 start next season?
Yeah, they're good. They're a good team. It's not easy to go 3-0 out the gate. We're not too sure on what they're going to show us Saturday, but Coach Gaddis and Coach Locks, they're going to have a great game plan to handle whatever they throw at us.
3 weeks into the season, what do you like about how the offense has progressed, and where do you still feel areas room for improvement for you guys?
I like how our offense has a no panic button. As you guys seen, Michigan State and Virginia, we had drives that didn't go our way. We had quarters and halves that didn't go our way, but at the end of the day, we still haven't pressed the no panic button, and we're going to do the best we can do until the clock hits 0.
Kaden, you've been kind of a big play receiver almost your entire career. For someone who is so instrumental in those plays, take me through, explain to me what exactly goes into those plays of 20-plus yards, explosives, as coaches calls. What's the recipe to kind of making sure those are continuously happening game over game?
Practice. It just comes down to practice. You see it done in practice, it should be easy in the game. Although you don't always get, everything you work for, no matter how hard you work for it, you don't always get what you want. But, you just got to stay consistent through practice and, keep seeing the plays be made so when the game comes, it'll be easy.
Are there certain play calls that, when Gaddis will send it into the huddle where you kind of know, okay, this is a chance for a shot or this is a chance to kind of...
Yeah, for sure. Coach Gaddis puts an emphasis on, we don't know how many times that play is going to come back. So, when it comes, you got to make it. So there's many times where he calls plays and, I should be, licking my chops, thinking or, knowing that it should be a big play or I'm about to score.
Kaden, I believe on Saturday's touchdown was your first since, I think, October 14th. How did it feel for you to get into the end zone?
It was good. It felt good. It's been a while. Looking forward to that feeling again, but can't get too high through the highs and you can't get too lows through the lows. So that touchdown's behind me, and try to make it happen again this week.
Obviously someone already asked about Billy, but he talked on Saturday about the trust between him and the coaching staff, having a quarterback that is basically an extension of the play caller. How much does that help you in the offense in terms of the continuity and making sure that the offense is on track?
It makes me feel more comfortable, and just him knowing what he's doing, because at the end of the day, the coach can tell you this and that, but at the end of the day, the coaches aren't out there calling the audibles and making the plays. So the fact that Billy knows what's going on out there, it makes me a little freer to play. Thank you.
What's up? How everybody doing?
Quashon, you guys as a defense lead the country in turnover margin. I think you're tied for first in overall takeaways. What are the keys to you guys being so advantageous when it comes to takeaways?
I feel like just the key to being able to get a lot of takeaways is for us to just, believe in our coaching and be in the right spots that our coaches, coach us to be in every day in practice. And I feel like as long as we do that, we'll keep the success that we've been having.
It seems like you guys generated the most pressure you have this season on Saturday. How have you seen kind of the defensive line and the linebacker group kind of develop and be able to pressure Virginia as much as you guys did on Saturday?
I feel like we've done a lot of, developing, like I said, in practice, just making an emphasis on, the linebackers talking to us, about all the communication points and things like that, and making sure that we get the communication down the line and stuff like that. I feel like we've definitely been doing a good job with that, so we just got to keep on going with it. So.
Hey, Quashon, talk to me a little bit about, from a defensive player's perspective, how important is it to limiting explosive plays for an offense? Like, is that something that, especially I feel like in recent years in football, it's been such a huge emphasis, right? Like 3 yards per carry isn't a big deal, but a team gets a 60-yard pass, it has a huge difference. What goes into limiting those plays, and how important is it to you as a defense?
Yeah, definitely is really important, just being able to keep the defense, all together, so then we can make sure that we bring, in the right places in the right times, so then, the offenses, are very limited and things like that. And I am a person that I believe that when you have a big goal, you want to lead that big goal with small goals. We have a lot of small goals within our defense that we want to hold the opposing offense to, and, we just focus on that every day, and it, we really get the results that we want. So we want three takeaways a game. We want to be able to win the fourth quarter. We want to be able to hold the defense to 3.3 rushing yards per carry, things like that. So.
Second half last Saturday, you guys held them to 82 total yards, pair of takeaways after intermission. That's been kind of the rule as opposed to the exception the last couple of years, where the second half you guys have really come out strong defensively. Yeah. What do you feel the seeds are in the strong second halves for you guys defensively?
This particular second half, I feel like it was definitely just nothing but, us being in our own heads. We went into halftime and was just telling ourselves, like, we really had this game. We could do this and pull this one out. We just was really just in our own heads in the first half, and in the second half we just really just relaxed, went out there and did what we do every day. So.
4 takeaways last Saturday. Does it feel like like it's contagious out there, where you guys were able to get an INT, a fumble recovery, and the like?
Yeah, it might be a little contagious. I feel like that's probably one of the best cases that you can get, for real. So.
And finally, their quarterback, he's been there almost as long as Coach Loxley's been here. Could you address the challenges that their offense will pose you guys this Saturday?
Their offense, is very talented and stuff like that. We're definitely a team that doesn't, shy away from any competition at all. We approach everybody the same way, and I feel like we just got to go out there and do what we do every day, and really just make an emphasis on the quarterback that we have coming up today. He does like to run the ball a lot more aggressively than others, but we just got to get to the ball, rally to the ball, and do what we do every day.
Question, I want to go back to the turnovers, because Mike said earlier that in practice on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you guys have a turnover circuit.
Yeah.
How much does that help prepare you? Does that simulate what it's like in a game?
Yeah, we actually do a lot of game simulations in that period. A lot of things where we'll have a running back running, and then we'll have a defensive player come from behind them and hit the ball out, and then we'll have a second defensive player come to pick up the fumbles and stuff like that. Whether we'll kind of like emulate a lot of, there's a lot of players around, you got to jump on the ball, or there's not a lot of players around, you can scoop it up and score. We do a lot of things in that turnover circuit, and it definitely is starting to show up, for sure.
Quashon, hi. You mentioned your goal is to get the rushers 3.3, something like that.
Yeah.
Right now you're around 4, but you're keeping them to 130 yards so far in the last 2 games. So how is that emphasized even more? Like, what's the focus with you and the other guys on the line against Villanova? in the running game?
Yeah, thank you. I would just say that to answer that question, our defense needs to just make a more bigger emphasis on staying in our gaps, being able to three-count the offensive linemen, not being able to jump out of our gaps, so then our linebackers behind us could work and do their thing. And we have a lot of faith in our front seven. You can't really say front seven because we play a lot of different defenses here, but I feel like we have a lot of belief in our guys in the box to be able to do their thing, and we just got to emphasize on just being able to respect our responsibilities, really. Being able to just respect, I respect, being in my B gap, and I have to respect being in my C gap. My linebackers have to respect that, when pullers are coming, you have to either be over top or under it. I feel like everybody, as long as we just respect our jobs and do what we have to do, we'll be able to get the results that we finally want, which is the goal that you brought up earlier.
And Quashon, I know you mentioned obviously just playing multiple defenses, obviously, and just defensive line rotates a lot. But just seeing guys like Levon Johnson, Dylan Fontes, how have you kind of seen some of the younger guys kind of grow in this system?
Oh, nah, they've flourished amazing. Like, I'm really proud of those guys, man. I can't wait to see, what they have for us later on in the season, man. Dylan Fontes, Vaughn, all those guys, man. I feel like everybody just in that D-line room has just done nothing but just growing. And now I feel like this is definitely, their year to be able to show everybody what they have. So, yeah.
Dante took Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week honors for his efforts last Saturday. How much confidence does that give you guys up front to know that if say you're off by a little mark here or there, you've got him on the back end?
Yeah, we definitely appreciate Trader every day, man. He's definitely a guy that he definitely does his thing with talking to the guys in the secondary, but he also comes and shows the big guys some love and stuff like that. And just knowing that we all line up every day and we have him behind us, we know that if we don't get to the quarterback and that quarterback throws it in the air, hey, that whole 12 don't get it. So. For sure, man. Thank y'all.
How we doing? Good.
Hey, Billy, Coach Loxley was telling us about the confidence or the growth in confidence he's seen out of Ty from last year to this year. Kind of, what are some of the factors you've seen from him that have allowed him to get off to this record start at Maryland?
Yeah, I would just say his maturity, right? He's had a career where he's had to stay persistent. You know, he came in as a young guy, played a little bit, was, you know, on all special teams, didn't really get the opportunity he wanted to on offense, you know, as quick as he wanted. But I think the biggest thing for him is he's just stayed the course and he stayed persistent, you know, in his growth as a receiver. And then the biggest thing between, I think, last year and this year is just his mental, you know, the mental side of his game, knowing that he's an older player now, not trying to force things, knowing that, you know, letting the game come to him, not getting frustrated when it doesn't. I think that's been those two things have been the biggest thing. I think that has, you know, helped him have the hot start he's had this year. And that'll continue, you know, to help him throughout the rest of this year and throughout the rest of his football career, just the mental jump he's made. And, you know, he's, like I said, he's always been one of the hardest workers. He's been very persistent. So if he can, you know, keep that up and, you know, on the flip side of that, keep his head on straight. Obviously, the game gets tough, and, you know, we have a lot of external things to deal with. Then I think, you know, he'll be successful for however long he plays. So those are the two biggest things that jump out just from what I've seen, you know, in my relationship with him.
Billy, after 3 weeks as the starter, what are you seeing in yourself when you're watching film after the games, the next day or the day after, differently than you were in the last couple years?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is, like Coach Ox always says, I mean, I see what I'm doing in practice, right? A lot of the bigger throws I'm able to make, or the important throws in games that, you know, I've been able to make, I feel like I've done in practice, you know, multiple times last week. You know, missed, I think, a few deep shots there on the first drive early in the game, obviously connected with the one with KP for the first drive of the third quarter, the touchdown. But I feel like I've just seen myself try to grow in confidence every week. I think the biggest thing, like I said, you know, the last time I was up here, is just my preparation, you know, can't change. I have to get after it in practice Monday through Friday and make those throws and, you know, correct the mistakes that I'm making so that, you know, when we come out Saturday, it doesn't matter who we're playing, where we're playing, whatever it is, you know, I'll be able to handle the call and have all the confidence in the world to go make whatever throw. Yeah, so I feel like I've just seen myself gain confidence, and you know, I'm a big 1 week guy, one at a time guy, so I try to just flush it. And you know, this week, right, got the next game, the next opportunity, so we got to get after it, you know, yesterday and through Friday, and you know, create that confidence for myself so that I can go out there Saturday and make all the throws.
And obviously, with the success that Ty's had so far, other teams are going to start, I imagine, saying, you know, number one job, take
Yep.
Ty Felton out. So you started to get more receivers involved in last Saturday's game, and Kaden with getting in a touchdown. I mean, now how do you sort of make sure that that's also part of the game? Are you starting to see defenses sort of try to take Ty out of the game already?
Yeah. I would say a little bit. I think you know, coming out the first 2 games of the year, I think a lot of teams tried to take away Kaden Prather, which is why, you know, one of the many reasons why Ty's, you know, been able to have the success he's had so far this year. But that's, you know, that's the chess match of football. We have a very, very deep skill room, you know, whether it's receiver, running back, tight end. I have a lot of guys that are way more athletic than me that I can get the ball to. So that's the chess match of football. I'm sure, you know, the tables will start to turn. Teams will try to take away Ty, and we got, you know, 6, 7 other playmakers that are getting ready to get the ball in their hands and go do something with it. So, yeah, I'm sure, you know, I saw it a little bit last week. Obviously, they gave us a lot of off coverage, not, you know, trying to keep stuff, you know, in front of them and not let us get, you know, behind them in the passing game. But, yeah, I'm sure, you know, that's part of football, right? When you have this much success, teams obviously take notice of it and try to make a game plan to stop it. So we'll have to, you know, as a coaching staff, they're already ahead of the 8 ball, you know, getting plays where we can get all the guys, all our playmakers touches. But, you know, my job as a quarterback is just to go out there, read what the defense does, and if the defense continues to not take Ty away, I'll continue to feed them. If they do, then, you know, like I said, we got 6, 7 other playmakers that we can get the ball to and let them go be special.
Billy, what have you seen on tape Villanova's defense? What kind of makes them tick?
Yeah, they do some similar stuff to what UConn showed us in the week 1. You know, it's not the traditional defense, but they're very sound in what they do. They're very good at what they do. It's like I said, it's not traditional, so you won't see this 10 out of the 12 weeks of the season. But they're very, you know, they run their stuff and they run it really well. So I think the biggest thing for us is just to go out there. You know, we have our rules, we have our keys. There's going to be some different looks that, you know, we haven't seen a ton this year, or that UConn threw at us that was new. So I think the biggest thing for us is just to go out there and execute. Whether, you know, they're playing, you know, pass coverage and we can't throw the ball deep. We got to take the check down. If they give us, confusing looks in boxes, we just got to be able to cover people up, block them, and get the run game going early. But yeah, they run some different stuff. Not stuff we haven't seen before, but not stuff we see every day. So I think we're all excited, especially the interior guys, the offensive line is excited for the challenge to get up there and face some new structures up front, and try to get the run game going, try to protect me, and let the playmakers make plays.
And what does it mean to have the confidence and faith of your coach in you? What does it mean for Mike to say stuff like, he's got the mind of a coach, the body of an athlete, as opposed to the other way around?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely means all the confidence for me to go out there and play. I think to get that confidence in him, it goes back to a lot of the time we spend together, a lot of the work that whether it's me watching film with him or just the work outside here with the quarterbacks. I feel like all the players in our team, but especially myself, we put in the work to create that confidence and give ourselves a chance on Saturdays. But yeah, it means a lot. We've obviously spent the last 4 or 5 weeks or so, spent a lot of late nights up there watching tape, talking about all sorts of things of football. So it's been good. Obviously in that fourth quarter drive, I knew they were going to give me the ball for those last couple plays to try to punch it in and put us up 2 scores. So yeah, I was just happy. Obviously if I get the ball, I get the ball, but I'm just happy we were able to punch that one in and go up 2 scores with about 5 minutes left. Put the game, in a little bit better of a situation for our defense that we know it wasn't a one-score game. We weren't, all or nothing on it. But yeah, it feels good. And at the end of the day, I just want to win. So whether that's me throwing the ball 60 times or I hand it off to, our talented running backs, I'll be good with whatever it is.
Hey, Billy. Talk to me a little bit about, from a quarterback's perspective, I know that explosive plays are such a big part of your guys' offensive recipe. What goes into kind of, as a QB, I assume you want those type of plays, right, a lot, but controlling the game while also making sure that you're getting those, 20-plus, 30-plus yard throws. Loxley talked about Ty catching a 5-yard hitch and taking it 80 yards, but that's different than Kaden catching a fade ball for 35 yards. What goes into kind of each play having the chance for an explosive, or are there certain play calls that are more designed to get those?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a sliding scale. I think we definitely have play calls where we're going to be aggressive and we're going to try to take the top off defenses and push the ball downfield. I think the biggest thing from my perspective as a quarterback is to not force it. I think that was the biggest thing that I tried to do coming into this season, knowing I was going to be the starter, is not force things, right? I have talented enough receivers to where you saw week 1, I can throw a 5-yard hitch to Ty and he can take it 75. And the way we are offensively, the way teams are going to play us, they're going to try to limit those deep explosive plays, those deep shots down the field. So I think the biggest thing for me is to be in tune with the head coach and the offensive coordinator, knowing the intent of the play call. And then the second thing is just handling it, because there's going to be times where, they press Ty or they press KP and we have a chance to take, a one-on-one shot downfield. And then when they want to play off and give us access, I got to, throw the 4-yard route and let them do their things. I'd say the biggest thing, Coach Locke talks about the game of football being pure and not to force things. Just let the game come to you. So I think that's probably the main message as a quarterback when handling calls, trying to be explosive, but at the same time, not forcing things at the end of the day.
Is that something you guys emphasize, those explosives? Is there like a goal you have per week of like, hey, we want to get this amount of 20-plus yarders? Or
yeah, we have I think it's like 8 or 10 or more between run or pass. So we obviously have a goal that we set. I don't think we hit it this week, but it's the part of the game. It's part of the game. When UVA gave us a lot of access throws, played off a lot. Same thing that UConn did a little bit, Michigan State, just things that we've seen so far this season. So the biggest thing is just, for me, is just to take what they give us and just keep chipping away, because eventually they're either going to keep giving us the the access throws, or we're going to be at the 10-yard line and we're going to be in prime position to score a touchdown. So that's, I think, the biggest thing for me is just to not force it and just take what the defense gives us, and the big explosive plays that we want and need will happen organically.
Is that 8 or 10 explosives per game?
Correct.
Is that 20-plus yards?
I think there's some measuring scale I can figure out for sure, but I think it's like 12 yards plus of a run or like 15 yards plus of a pass play. Thank you.
There's like a pi r squared in there.
Oh yeah, no, come on. We always got to make it a little bit, more difficult with football. So yeah.